As doctor or an engineer or any person is randomly available to many people, but a CA is not easily available to many people.
How business people should use CS in their life.
For a business,
What mistakes they do and what would be your advice to them?
Raising funding.
I tried on a company that actually charged me almost 32% for a personal loan.
You are saying 32%. Maybe if it is daily interest, then it goes more than 100% per annum.
90% of Apple phones are bought by credit card.
They want to sell you what you don't require. Simple. You can work with a 10,000 rupees Android phone equal to an iPhone, but you will not. And social media is the biggest depression of the whole this thing. Nothing which is permanent. So that's why you should make yourself tough enough that come what may, you are not going to go down.
Welcome to the Vider Talkshow. Today we have a very highly qualified person who is my first guru in CA final. Hi sir, welcome to the Vider Talkshow.
Hi, Sai. How are you?
I'm good. So you are not only meeting a CA here, he's a very highly qualified person. Like he's almost having almost 8 to 9 degrees. So the most highest degree person whom I ever met. So like he has done his CA, CS, CMA, BCom, MCom, and various certification courses from ICI and even from ministry, which includes data science. So proud to have you here, sir.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
So like the basic agenda or basic ideology of starting this show is basically CA students, they do not know exactly which career they have to choose. Like it is having many, like they have to go to industries, or they have to put it in practice, or they have to start their own startup, or they have to go into their father's business. Like generally these are the problems which are being faced. So apart from this, even businesses people, they do not know what is the right compliance, or whether what the work they are doing is in a right manner, or they need every guidance to a CA. This is second agenda, and the major third agenda is like you as doctor or an engineer or any person is randomly available to many people, but a CA is not easily available to many people. So I just wanted to remove this misconception and provide more insights through this podcast to various viewers. So, this is a major agenda, sir.
Very good initiative, Sai. I'm so proud that you have actually bringing the awareness into this one field which is very underrated in the today's market.
Correct. So, you tell me your journey about how you have done many things, sir, in your lifestyle. Like you have been a teacher, you have been you see a firm of practice, you are specialized into loans, like you have helped many businesses, and not every person is doing similar things like you. Like why do you choose to be a teacher? Why do you choose to be a firm now? Like any specific reason?
So starting journey was as normal, like you choose what your friends are choosing. So the same manner we also chose CA because there was one very brilliant student in our group. He said I will do CA, so we also did CA. So there is nothing random. After we joined CA, then somebody said CAS is also a good course. So we also started for CF's foundation. So likewise, all this most of the qualifications have just come by. ठीक है, कर लो type. So, but one good thing was God was very great on us. So we actually didn't knew that this will be so tough to crack the exams. We thought अभी तक कभी fail नहीं हुए तो इसमें भी नहीं होंगे. So that way CS we qualified all in one go. Then the CA also went through very well, got a good articleship exposure, did my LLB, CMA together. So that's how the things went on. So just to answer your one question, so where actually decision making has come, until I qualified CA, there was not much or major decision making which I have taken on a standalone basis, and I think generally people don't take on standalone basis. They just go by either the parents or some mentors or their friends. So that's how that whole industry has been devised. But in order to become a teacher, there was one point wherein I was a teacher by default. There was the classes of orientation programs. There was the classes for some communication skill based classes, so which I was taking with the Institute of Chartered Accountant for quite a long time. In 2016, there was one batch of I believe that CA final students, wherein I was taking the class and then one girl got up and told, sir, बोलने को सब बोलते, it is not that easy to pass out, you have already passed out, so it is easy for you to comment and say you see it are pass side. मैं बोला ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, if you have willingness to study, you are able to burn some candles at night, you will be able to pass through. So that came as a challenge to me, and then that particular point of time I decided, let us try to prove this. That was the first decision making, you can say, would have taken in my life. So that was the first decision making of starting an institution. Otherwise, earlier to that, there was no content oriented teaching which I was doing. I was only doing communication oriented, or how do you see yourself in life, and that kind of things were there. So that time we started, and then we initiated a concept called Special 24, and we used to take only 24 students in a batch, and the first batch was only 2 girls, and they joined, and the batch started 60 days CA final SFM subject. I'm very proud they have passed out now, qualified, and that's how the thing started. In some batch even you were there. So by the time COVID hit, we were already into the industry 4 years. We were running some 8 to 9 batches parallelly for 24 students in CA Foundation Inter. Final was still a faculty oriented subject, so there we were not running all CA final at one go, but Foundation and Inter were going on. So we had 250 odd plus students at the day when the COVID hit. And this is how that teacher journey went on, and that was one part of my life which I can never forget.
That was actually very inspiring. So, like, being your student, I actually felt you teach it in a proper manner. Like, if SFM as a subject is very practical. Like, if you mug also, you'll not understand. So the way of teaching is very important. Hopefully, I also passed in the same attempt which you taught us. And then coming to the next, so like this CA profession, generally what is happening is many people are going into income tax or GST practice, but as a CA profession, it's much wider. So like you can be the backbone of every business. So like you will tell, even from small purchase order to sales, you know what is the proper methodology of doing things. So like my intention or my understanding of CS in practice is today, that generally after a month has been done, they'll take accounts from the accountants and only file GST returns, or after the year end they'll file income tax returns, or if they get any appeals or litigation, that kind of management is going on. But I feel a CA contributing to a CA business, that business will grow like very big scale. So I felt when our tool was implemented in your office, I felt like apart from being a simple tool which will implement or digitize your firm, if we can provide that kind of services through our tool, it will actually boost your firm. Apart from that, your clients will also boost. So in this sense, what is your take on how business people should use CS, in which perspective?
So your question has the answer why we transitioned from teaching to this side. See, how could you say that practice is either income tax or GST? This is very wrong to say. Can you imagine to file your income tax return if your GST returns are not filed properly? See, let's understand the macro environment, so that this macro environment understanding will give your viewers a clear-cut thought process, at least, that how the world is changing, how the profession is changing, and how the businesses are changing. 2014, when Mr. Modi's government came to power, so there were a lot of promises they have built, and they have delivered also on most of the promises. Started with demonetization in 2016. So, see, demonetization was not an overnight decision which he came on television and just spoke about and did it off. 6 months prior, there was Jan Dhan Yojana. So many people who are not having bank accounts, the people who are actually dealing in the actual cash economy, were brought into the banking system. Then, in order to remove the maximum currencies out of the market before giving a demonetization scheme, RBI has launched a clean currency policy that was within the banks, that if there is something written on the bank, don't return the notes. So there was curb on the supply side of on the printing side of the currency way before the demonetization was announced. Likewise, next year GST was launched. ठीक है. 2016 was also a very major year because that was the time where the Jio was also announced. Now we are having this podcast, or we are imagining this podcast will reach out to so many people only because Jio has played a very greater role into the economy. So let's understand this way. There is a sequence of event which is happening in the macro environment. ठीक है. If you are able to track those events, you will be able to see, is your business in the right place in the coming future. If you are not able to track that environment, you might go out of business very soon. Like teaching itself, we got out of business. Physical classes where we used to have 500 students at one particular classroom, those days are gone. Why those days are gone? Only because of digitization. So if you are able to understand what is happening in the macro environment, if you are able to align your business into that macro environment side, only then it will happen. See, let's understand movie production also. How many movies were based on VFX earlier to let's say 2016?
Very nice.
In the Bollywood cinema itself, if you take up, there very, very few movies were there. But if you see in the last 10 years, the movies which are been created on the platform of VFX, let's say Bahubali, the next Bahubali, or you see the other period movies like Tanaji and other movies, the quality has got so much improved in some or the other manner. Now we have also started to compete with the international this thing. So movie production is not like how Rashri used to do Vivaha, which is simple. So that people taste has got changed. So this is one kind of a business or one kind of a profession where you have to track the macro environment and see whether your business, whatsoever it is, अगर आप पानी पूरी भी बेच रहे हो तो you have to understand कि आपका आगे जाके चलेगा नहीं चलेगा, चलेगा तो कैसे चलेगा, क्या होना चाहिए, कैसे होना चाहिए. बेसिक नेसेसिटी के बिजनेसेस को छोड़ दो तो अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट एवरी बिजनेस इज गोइंग थ्रू अ वेरी मेजर टर्न्स. दैट्स वाई लेट अस नॉट कॉल CA practicing, he is practicing income tax, he is practicing in this thing. There are fields like
my question is how business people should use CS in their life.
Vast services, simple
value. Like only sending GST returns or only income tax returns. Like CA is having so much other knowledge which he should use in their business to expand their business.
There is no CA required. There is no accountant required. At least maybe in the next 2 years. If you are doing your accounting properly, automatically your GST returns will be filed, automatically your IT returns will be filed, your tax audit format can also be generated in the same go. Your professionalism, your expertise comes in majorly one area. How are you going to optimize the value for the business? Going forward, if you as a professional is being able to provide a value to the client, and if the client is sensible enough to take your advice seriously, that is where the future gold is lying. Correct. This is as simple as that. And that is how our firm got started post-COVID, with only focused on creating values for the client, understanding what factors of production they are being over-leveraged, and we ourselves, how we can use technology to do our regular things. That's how your software came into our organization for the management of staff and all, and that is the need of the hour. I will not say 10 years ago there hardly any firms were using any kind of a software. Correct. Even if it is a big firm like 200, 500, 600 staff people also. But now this has become, it is like you cannot run your firm efficiently without having that kind of a tool. So understand the macro environment, see is your business fit into the future at least 5 years down the line. I'm not saying 10, 15 years, at least 5 years down the line, whether it is there. Take a professional advice, pay for it, and that is how you will be able to make your fortune out of it.
For example, a startup or a business, generally what mistakes they do, and what would be your advice to them?
Raising funding very early or raising funds very late. So either of these two things.
Not exactly. Even not for a startup, that is a good idea. Generally, for traditional businesses or even for businesses which have been running since long, if you are not looking into fundraising or something, that kind of businesses, what mistakes in terms of compliances or in what terms they do generally?
See, startup as such will not have any revenue as such coming in the initial first. So For them, compliance burden is also very less. If I'm understanding your question right, so you are asking for a new businesses, startup businesses, or an small businesses, what kind of an what they can do in order to get a very easy compliance, do not have get into that trouble of officer calling them and asking harassing them. So the simple logic is that you get your taxes and accounting sorted. For that, even if you have to spend some case extra, it is worth it. You will have peace of mind. You will get your time in order to focus on your core business. That is how you have to do. So now we we have got package for this services. So that is the best way they can give the compliance work to an outsourced party until unless they grow to a certain level. Once they grow it to a certain level, they can take a decision making whether it is financially viable, technically viable, and other factors considering whether we can move it in house, and then let's take it up further. But one thing which startups actually has to get into is to see, is their business what they are doing, take an advice on the business. See, what happens is you have an idea, you identify a problem. Most of the problems what we identify comes out of our own experience. The problem which is very big for us might not be for the world. Right. So that is where you see the problem coming up. There are so many startups coming up. They have all come up because of a problem which they have identified. Only thing is whether that particular problem is so big problem that they will get paying customers, and going forward, are they able to scale it? That decision making, that addressability, that is something where they require a finance professional, a professional who can give them the insight of what is going to be there in the market, where they have to fine tune their idea, product, service, or whatsoever. That is where the major things like compliance side, there is nothing big rocket science what they have to do.
So generally, I myself running a startup, so I being myself CA, I do not know exactly that these are the list of compliances which you have to comply. It is very, in India, it's since the acts are very huge, you do not know what all you have to comply with. So even myself, I face problems in this every day, 15th ESI, PF, PT, GST, only I'm telling few things, but there are many things which you have to comply with. So my take is, give it to your CA, he'll take care. But people as a startup, as an entrepreneur, they should know what they have to be complied with. How should they know they have to comply? Do they have to gain that knowledge, or they have to leave it on a CA?
Let's take one example from your company itself. So you are basically an office management tool provider company, correct? With your software, we will be able to assign work better. We will be able to build work better. There won't be any revenue leakages if it is implemented well. Okay. So let's understand, you have given your software to a firm or a company which has, let's say, 500 employees, and then those people are very effectively using it. One fine day, they have got investor who says, I'm ready to invest, and he does a due diligence. So that is something which is a very funny exercise for any business to do, because what happens is, for us, it is only income tax, GST, at max some labor law compliance like PF, ESI, or something like PT. I have seen one scenario wherein they have asked the due diligence firm which was doing that, was an international due diligence firm. They asked, you have not complied with Apprenticeship Act. So what is that act? If you have certain threshold of employees with you, you should also have certain number of apprentice or that trainees also should be working with you. So nobody knows, even the act name also they don't know. So there is some kind of scenarios, some things which will come only at a later stage. Obviously, the major compliances people will take care. So basically, they can have one internal due diligence for their own firm going forward. And also, they should also be aware that what kind of a data they're sharing externally. So one threat which is everybody is facing is data. We as a CA firm are not hosting our data on the cloud. Okay? We are not suggesting our people to host it on the cloud. But now what is happening is, we see some ransom attacks happening at the client locations. There are employees when they leave the our clients or something, they try to steal data, give it to the competitor, or there is a risk there. Nobody has done that, but there is a risk. So nobody can deny that risk. Now your software is carrying such a crucial data of all the employees for the part. So some fine day government can ask Vider, "Arey, give your client details. We wanted to know whether everybody is paying PF, ESI or not." So data is something which is very crucial now. Your all records should match. So that's why an internal due diligence, internal audit is, at least on a periphery basis, you can hire a good professional and get it done.
So like my friend and me were involved in some due diligence in this respective. They actually sent us almost 1100 pages. For reading that also, you need 1 month of time. They'll tell us to complete in 10 days. I do not understand what exactly the acts are. What is the due diligence? What you have to do? Like all these things are like very particularly needed for an hedge fund or an VC fund who are like very big VC fund who will invest, but they will look these things very particularly.
I will tell you the real fact. Can I be honest here?
Yeah.
Suppose I do a deal with you, कि ठीक है यार, at 50 crore valuation, I'm ready to invest for suppose it X value or 51% stake or something. Now I have committed to you. ठीक है. Now due diligence is one tool in the investor's hand to pay you, to not to pay you. So what we will do is we'll get a 1100 page document. Your internal finance professional, your CAs will say, gone, sir. So what the investor will simply say, he will give you a long list of compliances which you have not done. He will give you an estimate of the amounts which could be there, which could come as a penalties or and then he says, sir, we were supposed to pay you 25 crores. So some 10 crores is the cost of compliance which may arise. So we are taking your 50% of the stake. We'll pay you 15 crores. 10 crores we are keeping aside for the compliance burden. So
This is usually done.
I'm not saying usually done, but see, that's why such a detailed due diligence is sometimes recommended. They want to save their skin. At the same point of time, if the investment size is little higher, so they can do it.
So coming to like I heard that in your practice you are majorly you do all kinds of business services, but you do kind of loans in a special manner. If a businessman wants to, like, which businessman should take which kind of loan, for example working capital loan or a term loan, like there are 3-4 types of loan. Can you actually tell like which finance is required for which kind of company?
So here this is our core area. So we specialize in debt financing. So how does debt financing work and how people in the businesses have use the debt financing, there is a very major gap. We have seen let's talk from bottom to top. Let's understand the businesses which is running around some 10-15 crore rupees of turnover, a small manufacturing unit and all that stuff. So you see, they have taken a working capital loan, but with that money they have purchased machineries and they do it honestly. Nobody is there to tell them ki, "Arey yaar, for a machinery you should take a term debt rather than taking a working capital debt." Similarly, if you go little higher side, you are taking greenfield or like you are entering into business which was earlier from the scratch, or if you are expanding your existing business by setting up a new plant or a new showroom on that kind of a stuff. So this is, money is the key factor of production for any business, whether it is trading, service, manufacturing. It is the key factor of production. If you are not able to manage money well within the system, sooner or later it is going to be very bad for you, because your profitability will be impacted, and that is why you see some stress accounts happening. But with us, if suppose some client approaches us, what we do is we do a consulting for them. Ki boss, how is your balance sheet standing today? How much X of exposure leverage you have? What is your real requirement? And how this particular capital can be optimized? Most of the time, you will understand the more than the additional money they want, they need to do a simple structuring of their balance sheets. So that is one service area which is required day in day out. It is not a one day job or a annual assignment like filing your ITRs or doing compliance. It is a day in day out job wherein your working capital management has to be done very perfectly. Your understanding of how the tax efficient structures you can create. Like let's take an example. Post COVID, government itself has given a very good tax rate for manufacturing entities at 15%. So a manufacturing entity, you can create a private limited company, you can start a manufacturing activity, you can get a 15% tax rate. So that's very good. So effective tax rate, if you take 15% this and again dividend distribution tax also, it is coming very equivalent. So corporate tax rate has got minimized in case of some entities. Now that period has gone, so 31st March 2024 was the last year you should start your commercial operations. But we suggested clients at those times, ki boss, you are into manufacturing, start up a new entity, start a new manufacturing entity there, because future may this cost is going to be very minimum. You will be able to have good profits. There is a lower tax burden, and that's how your capacity to take more debt would increase.
So like, what is the time period of that tax rate? 15%?
It is lifetime.
Lifetime.
There was a condition that you should start it after COVID. You should incorporate your company after COVID and start the manufacturing activity before 31st March 2022, and then they extended it by 23 and 24. So now that period has gone. But see, this kind of things people don't know. Correct. That is where the CA roles come in, or a professional role come in, or it's a specialized. See, if chartered accountant has so many subjects, he cannot be master of all. So obviously, of business, if it goes to a certain threshold, they require multiple professionals, multiple wings. So that is for sure. So this is how a debt funding has to be seen first in a right spirit. What kind of a collateral coverage they are offering, and moreover, it is also not from the client perspective. Sometimes even the bankers or the institutions which are lending now, there are so much variations in their part. So if suppose you see particular balance sheet which is very healthy, but you see why he is paying such a high interest rate, there is no point for him to pay high interest rate. We just told their banker, like people came for the first time, we just told their banker, either you reduce your interest rate or we are going to take it over. Immediately they are getting 2-3% benefit. So that is something which is very important for today's business, because every business is going through a very tough time these days. So this is like post-COVID impact. So this is how it is. And now some people will ask that why do I will take debt? I don't want to take debt. My business is self-sufficient. Debt is the key to go public. If you want to go public in the future, debt is the key. Once you go to public for raising more funds, see, ultimately किसी भी businessman का क्या होता है सपना, जाके मुंबई में वो घंटा बजाना. Until unless वो नहीं करेगा तो उसको business की जो spirit है ना वो नहीं आती. Like let's take Mark Cuban saying. So Mark Cuban says, basketball you play it for certain time. Business is one sport you play every day. That's why you feel so much energetic while doing business. So business अगर करना है समझो तो it is a daily day out job. And business अगर करना है तो बड़ा करना है. Jeff Bezos comes up and says, Amazon is roughly valued $1 trillion. I own 16% of Amazon. 84%, 40 billion, I've created it for the people. So that kind of a satisfaction, you wanted to have it for your business. That people remember you, because otherwise, kya hai, livelihood, you can also do it by salaries, or you can do it by so many other ways. There are so many revenue streams which we have. So that's why if you take debt, you are able to manage well. People will have confidence on you that you can manage others' money well. That is one thing. Your compliance will get streamlined, because there is some secondary external authority like a banker or somebody who is asking your data regularly. Then moreover, you use the debt efficiently to grow your business. That is when the actual kick happens. Your business grows to a level. Then you go for a public issue. You can retire your debt, or you can go for a further business expansion. That's how it is a mixture. So that understanding how the capital has to be brought in, what is the right rate at which capital has to be brought in. If you would have studied in your SFM, cost of debt is the cheapest way of getting the money in. So if that is the cheapest way, why do you have to leave it? Similarly, obviously, what we do is we are not only doing debts, we are also doing public issues. So But what we do with the clients is we just don't see our profit. Our profit is where get him the maximum loan, get him for the IPO as soon as possible, we'll get handsome of money. That's not our job. We wanted to see, we are farmers, not hunters. We wanted to have our farms build over a period of time, greener, rather than वो नहीं मुर्गी को आज काटा सब अंडे निकाल लिए, वो कुछ नहीं होगा.
And for a business, I think it is very much understood that which kind of loan or something. They actually understood ideology of it. Coming to salaried employee or general people who are not exactly into business, have some kind of salary or some kind of other profession, they generally take personal loan. But these days, what is happening is there are many fintech companies coming around this market. Like there are many companies who are coming into this market going because of the NBFC licensing, which is cancelled by RBI. Many things are being going on. But I like after my analysis over that, the personal loan which few companies are charging like very high, very too much. Like I tried on a company that actually charged me almost 32% for a personal loan. Like it's everything automated. You do not know whom to talk with. You do not have any ideology of doing things. But it's charging that amount of money. But still, people are taking. Like people are not aware of this, or they do not know the procedure of getting a loan from a bank, or like how should people take this, and what is a better way of doing things?
This is just simply an ideology issue. I completely agree with you. This is like an FOMO. Don't take me otherwise. But what has happened is everybody wants to carry an iPhone. Everybody wants to dress very well. The partying culture has increased. Every Saturday, Sunday, you have to get a restaurant or a drinks bill for more than a 10K or something. So, this is good for the economy because consumption-led economies actually require more consumers. That's why America is what America today. But what is happening is this kind of expenditure requires similar kind of an income. But people who are willing to spend doesn't have income source. Please understand this. I have money. If I have earned this money, I will not spend that. But you see your friend doing it, and social media is the biggest depression of the whole this thing. You see Instagram post, she has been posting that she has gone to Ooty or let's say some foreign trips and also automatically it is a temptation that why I'm not going, and then some pop-up comes on your phone saying that 5 lakh rupees instantly 2 minutes. There is all check boxes except terms and condition, you will once you open again your 1100 pages document will come up which you will not end up reading at all. So that is an advantage what they are having because this has become a geek economy. So everything has its pros and cons. So because of this digitization or the India is the country where you have lowest cost per GB. So one way it is good because this podcast will be seen in so many mobile sets rather than laptops. This is for sure. So this is one good thing, pros. Cons is you will have so many fintechs who is getting into your phone with or without permission. They are tempting, making you tempt. You can get a loan to buy a sneaker. You can get a loan to buy a 10,000 rupees item. So credit is like nobody is stopping you for doing the credit. But people, what they are not understanding is पैसा वापस देना है. It is not that कि दे दिया तो वापस नहीं आएगा. It is not a pocket money. You have to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back, they very well know that how to take it back. So that kind of a torture when it starts and that kind of a exorbitant rates I have seen in my known circle also. Somebody has taken 2 lakh to 5 lakh rupees of loan and he ends up paying 25 lakh rupees. So it is like a vicious cycle which he gets into daily interest. You are saying 32%. Maybe if it is a daily interest, then it goes more than 100% per annum. So that is obviously going on. RBI has to still have lot of things to do, but until that gets streamlined, and that cannot completely get streamlined because there is a requirement of credit. There is a requirement of consumer credit. Simple. Most of the items, if let's take a very simple survey here, 20,000 30,000 के ऊपर का कोई भी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम बिक रहा है ना, क्रेडिट कार्ड स्वाइप हो रहा है.
Like there is a recent survey, almost 90% of Apple phones are bought by credit card.
हाँ, उसमें से एक और पॉइंट है, आई विल बोरो योर HDFC कार्ड टू स्वाइप इट. So, hey, there is a credit, but people, they want to sell you what you don't require. Simple. You can work with a 10,000 rupees Android phone equal to an iPhone, but you will not. You need iPhone 16 means iPhone 16.
So you have been using our product almost since 8 months, I think. So like, what would be your feedback, or how should we do our improvements? And apart from this, like, to fellow professionals, how do you benefited out of our product?
See, improvements are both ends. ठीक है. ठीक है, you have done your good part, you are doing it good part. I believe we are also contributing to your product feature. My Govind keeps on telling that they have this is a so improvement is both the ways. See, let's understand your product. If it is designed for a CA firm, no, the actual challenge lies with the firm. The challenge lies with the firm is they should make it mandatory, and somebody, at least for initial few months, has to sit on the product over the head of those employees and say ki boss, you have to do it through the system. Until unless you do it through the system, do it through that software, put your punchings, check-ins, check-out, description, time sheets, we are not going to reward you.
Govind has done very good job in your office.
I don't know whether they have done it or not, but I feel we have only 20% implemented it, to be honest, I will tell you. But thing is, it is a need of the hour. If it is a need of the hour, whether you like it or not, it has to be implemented. It is a great product, ठीक है, but there is a sense of a commitment required from our side or most of the firms, because this is a general phenomenon wherein it has to get implemented. But I wish you a very big success. तेरा भी IPO लेके आ जाते हैं फटाफट.
Thank you so much. Hopefully, coming from CA background, like the first day I met you is in the class, in the orientation class. I
Correct.
think.
Yeah.
Then orientation.
Yes, orientation was the class.
After the orientation, I met you in this
CA class.
CA class in Practicapul, and then directly I met you in the CFM office, so showing my software.
Correct. See, if you look at my life journey, right, it was a complete roller coaster. Post, I don't know, there was a कीड़ा in us कि है ना कुछ करना टाइप में था, तो very proactive looking, कोई छोटी business opportunity है तो we'll used to take up. There was an initial this thing कि पापा के बिजनेस में नहीं जाना है, ठीक है, वी हैव गॉट द लिवरेज. देयर वाज वन, आई गॉट CA इंटर, आई गॉट 444 out of 700. दैट वर टाइम इट वाज IPCC, so that's 700 marks, so it was very good marks. मतलब I thought it is very good, ठीक है, so it was very good marks. It was in top 10 of Hyderabad that time, so family was happy, so they allowed me, ठीक है, अभी तक वो बिजनेस में नहीं खींचते, तू कर ले जो करना है. So what happened is, it gave me a very good free room. We were not shy to travel in bus. We were not shy to do whatever is required. We were ready to work day in, day out. See, the culture has changed like this. The day one of my articleship, I still remember it today. I did only 5-6 clients in my articleship, but those 5-6 clients, the kind of exposure which we have got, I don't think so that kind of exposure was possible to any other person if they are not willing to put in extra hours. People today has got into that this ki theek hai, work is work, but understand, once you are in a learning phase, no, when you have not achieved anything or you are basically learning few new things, no, that is a phase. Irrespective who is your father, it actually comes down to you, that are you able to make a livelihood for yourself, then are you able to stabilize your business. Look at you. So you basically come from a well-to-do family. Then what happened is, post that, it was like you did your CA well, everything was going well. If somebody asks you, why did you get into this risky job, putting your cream years of practice, the cream years of post qualification into a development of a software which is already competitive market? So the answer would come, I like it. That same manner, once I did it, there would be so many falls. You will not believe, in my last year of articleship, there was such a havoc. I missed my filing examination form for the CA. There was so many things. I lost some lakhs rupees, more than 6 to 7 digit amount I have lost in to an online fraud on one vendor on Indian Yellow Pages. So then again got into a very good firm. I got selected for Wipro cohorts that time, post qualification. That was a big achievement, at least. Life takes you for a ride. We were at the peak of our academy, COVID hit. So, so there is nothing which is permanent. So that's why you should make yourself tough enough that come what may, you are not going to go down. So that should be the takeaway from this discussions. If you are willing to put in hours on yourself, that is something which is going to help you in the future, nothing else.
Makes sense. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your time. It was great pleasure having you. Hopefully our audience also likes the product and likes the way of CA life and how exactly they should do their business in proper manner.
Correct. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you.